You're tracking your food, you're getting your steps in, you're eating healthy, but the scales are still stuck. Here's the truth most coaches won't tell you. Fat loss isn't linear. It's not linear on the scales, but it is linear in our bodies. The scales just won't show that. And just because the scales aren't moving doesn't mean you're not making progress. So here are my 5 main reasons why the scales aren't moving, even though you're in a deficit. Number 1, making small mistakes with your tracking that's leading to large amount of calories being under-tracked. Let's just say you're making a curry. You can input the homemade option, or you can input the individual items. Now that's going to make such a big impact because the homemade option, you have no idea how they've calculated those calories. And there's a good chance it's completely different to the one you're making. Thinking the little things don't matter. You know, that extra bite of food that you've had from your kids' leftovers, the latte that you think, oh, it's just a drink, there's not many calories in it. All these things can total up to, 200, 300, 400 calories over the day. Then in a week, that can add up to thousands of calories, knocking you out of that deficit that you think that you're in. Sticking to your calories all week and then over consuming on Saturday, Sunday, and you think, you know what, it's only 2 days, it's not gonna make a big difference. Let's say, for example, your calories are 1,600 a day. In a week, that's 11,200. Now, let's say, for example, you have a bad weekend and you consume 3,000 calories Saturday and Sunday, which is easily done. If you add up all those calories over the week, you're actually averaging 2,000 calories a day instead of 1,600, which for most of you lot will be enough to knock you out of a deficit. So yes, those 2 days a week on the weekend make a big, big difference. Number 2, you're holding on to water weight from being inconsistent. Your body likes consistency and it's always trying to balance things out. If one day you have loads of salt, little water and loads of carbohydrates, and then the next day you do the opposite, your body has no idea what's going on and you can easily gain 2 to 3 pounds in one day. And if you're doing that across the week, even though you are losing body fat, because of all the different water fluctuations, you're going to think when you hop on that scale that you're gaining and losing 2-3 pounds of body fat. This is a psychological torture almost, because you feel like you're putting in the work, but the scales are not giving you the result you want to see. When in reality, in the background, the body fat has been coming down. So stay consistent with water, sodium, and carbohydrate, and you will see a lot less fluctuations throughout the week. Stress, hormones, and poor sleep can also cause big fluctuations. Try to keep these variables as consistent as possible. Number 3, you're building muscle while losing fat. Although building muscle takes a lot longer than losing body fat, it can be enough to slow down the process of seeing that scale drop. Especially if you're a new person to weightlifting, your body responds quite fast and you can build quite a lot of muscle. Check out my transformation. In these 2 photos, I'm 190 pounds, the exact same weight. And over that process, I barely saw the scale moves because I was building muscle while losing body fat. Now, if I'd have based all my results off the scales, I would have given up and I would have never have got the result. Number 4, and this is actually a very important one, the scales that we use at home, these cheap 10, 20 pound scales, they're not sensitive enough to pick up all these small changes. If you've ever weighed yourself daily, you'll probably notice a trend. You'll see your weight stay the same for 4 or 5 days and then just suddenly drop 1 or 2 pounds. And that's because the scales aren't sensitive enough to pick up all these small drops. To prove this, try this. Fill up a 1 litre water bottle with water, put it on the scale, just the bottle on its own, and I can almost guarantee you it will say 0. Number 5, you're losing body weight, you just don't know it. You're focusing way too much on the daily weigh-ins. Instead, what you want to do is weigh yourself every single day and calculate the weekly average. Base all your results of what's happening to your averages week after week after week. Aim to drop the average about 1 to 2 pounds per week. This will kind of iron out all those fluctuations. You can stop stressing when you see the weight jump up or jump down. It will give you a true indicator. If you'd like the weight tracker that I've used with hundreds of clients to help them lose 10, 20, even 30 kilos, drop me a message on Instagram and I'll happily send it over to you completely for free. Most women I coach have been taught to use the scales like a scoreboard, but the scale doesn't measure the most important things. If you're eating better, feeling stronger in the gym, training consistently, you're winning, even if the scales just haven't shown it yet. And these are the things you want to really be focusing on. The weight will eventually catch up. If this hit home and you're in that place of, I'm doing everything right, but I'm just not seeing the scales move, drop me a message and I'll send you something that will really, really help you out.